Monogram has asked Great Traditions to run a North America Regional and National Slot Car Race Championship program featuring Monogram's 1/32nd scale Grand National Vintage NASCAR models. Eligible cars for the 2012 championship are Monogram slot car models of the 60s Ford Fairlane, Ford Galaxy, Dodge Charger, and Plymouth GTX. Monogram produced several liveries of the Grand National cars of this era, and some drivers chose to create their own decorations as well by taking an existing model and painting and/or decaling them. Regional races were run across North America from as far west as British Columbia, Canada, and as far east as Florida. The top 4 finishers of each regional race became eligible to race in the North America Championship Final. That championship final was held on May 5, 2012 at Great Traditions in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Great Traditions Championship track is a 4-lane Carrera layout, about 100-foot lap length, and about 25-foot main straight with a high bank turn. Rules outlining which modifications could be made to the cars were published on the Great Traditions race website, gtslots.com, as well as on Slot Car Illustrated, the most popular slot car forum in North America. Handout Monogram motors that were pre-tested to ensure they were within a close RPM range were used by each race participant. These motors came with an 11-tooth brass pinion gear instead of the stock plastic gear and had the noise-suppressing electronics removed. Requiring use of these motors contributed to equalizing the car's speed, so drivers had to rely more on their car tuning and driving abilities to be successful. The handout motors were returned to Great Traditions at the end of the competition. In this picture you can see how some of these allowed modifications are typically applied. On the top is the stock Monogram Grand National chassis with 2 traction magnets, rubber rear tires, and a motor with noise suppressing electronics with a plastic pinion gear. On the bottom is the chassis with the traction magnets removed and lead weight added. Rubber tires were replaced with silicone tires to give more grip on the plastic Great Traditions Carrera track. Adding the weight lowers the car's center of gravity, which can improve handling. As drivers installed their handout motors and tires, they made final adjustments to their cars, such as lubricating the gears, ensuring their weight was secure and minimizing friction within the drivetrain. Drivers then presented their cars for tech inspection, where the inspectors ensured the cars were in compliance with the rules. Cars were impounded until time to race. Prior to racing, each driver had 10 laps of qualifying runs to confirm their car was working properly and to determine the starting order within the race sequence. If a driver experienced a problem during qualifying, before the conclusion of their 10 laps, they had a chance to correct the issue in the presence of a tech inspector. They were then allowed to resume their remaining qualifying laps. The best qualifying times were placed in the middle of the racing sequence, while those with the slowest times were placed at the beginning and end of the sequence. This allowed those with the best qualifying times to be on the track during the same race segments. Racing consisted of each driver running a 10-minute segment on each of the 4 lanes using the round-robin format. This meant a total of 40 minutes track time for each car. Participants that were not driving during a segment took their turn marshalling cars that deslotted. At the end of each 10-minute segment, lap totals were recorded, and when the driver finished his 4th segment, his position on track was marked in case there were any lap total ties to be broken. From those totals, the winner was determined, and for the 2012 Monogram Grand National Vintage NASCAR Championship, the winner was Joseph Rosales. Each participant in the race received from Monogram a Daytona Cobra in a very limited edition Gulf livery. Thanks to Great Traditions, Monogram, and slot car racers from North America for their support of the Slot Car Championship.